Hello everyone, I'm Michael Gibson and I'm your host of the Norm Therapy Show. I'm also the creator of Norm Therapy. Today we're going to talk about probably one of the most requested videos, and that's fear. Fear is an interesting tool or demon, depends upon how you look at it. Most people fear fear. I think Winston Churchill was famous for saying, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." Fear is an emotion, more it's a response to something that's occurring. It's how you respond to things in life that'll help you understand or participate in their outcomes. You have to learn to use fear to your benefit instead of to your detriment, as most of us do. First of all, let's break down fear. Fear is generated in your body as a cautionary response to something. It's telling you when you fear something to be careful. There's a warning, like hold on a second. We were on our motorcycle and we went a little bit too close to the edge. So you fear that fall into the valley or down the cliff. You fear the rush of the motorbike crashing and hurting you. When you fear something, you're only telling yourself that something is happening and I need to be sharper, I need to be on my game, and I need to focus. And that's what fear does for you. If you think about it, once you're in a position to be afraid of something, that fear is causing you to stop dead in your tracks. Oftentimes it freezes people. It's causing you to reassess things. And it's causing you to accept things exactly how they are and operate those things as if that was the only choice you had to make. We don't always get that out of fear when we're feeling it. Most of us freeze up, start crying, whining, fighting. Some of us fight, love the confrontation and run towards the challenge instead of away from it. And we'll talk about that too a little bit more here in this segment. But the most requested video we've had to date is about understanding fear. The amygdala, which is the threat center, it pretty much keeps you on track with just about everything you do in life, whether you know it or not. You're always being handled by your amygdala. It's keeping you in a place where you're safe most of the time. It's not just you doing it, it's that threat center in your brain that's doing it. And working with the neuroplasticity of the brain, which is very malleable, scientists are finding, and real life circumstances are showing that it's extremely malleable, the neuroplasticity in the brain. That means you can learn new things, you can overwrite bad programming. So let's try to look at fear from a perspective of programming. We're all programmed from children. Don't touch that fire. Don't put your finger on that stove. Don't grab that thing off the grill. Don't pick up that knife. Drop those scissors. From birth, we're programmed to be afraid. It's almost as if you were to say to a child or to a younger person, instead of "don't pick up that knife," it probably would be better to say, "That knife could probably hurt you if you don't handle it well." Big difference. I don't fear it. I understand it now. I'm not fearing the knife. I'm understanding it. Don't go down that dark alley because, robbers and people will rape you or hurt you. That's a fearful, tale of caution. Or you can say, on that side of town, a lot is happening, so you need to remain vigilant. Anything can happen, especially if you're going down different dark ways and pathways You want to kind of do your homework before you go in that area to make sure you know where you are and how to get out of there. Now I get to study something. I get to learn it. I get to understand it. I get to pay attention to it. I don't get to fear it right away and limit myself on how to respond to it later. I get to respond to it now internally by understanding it, by getting comfortable with this is not going to be easy. It's going to be a little precarious or dangerous. I'm in this circumstance. Can I choose another circumstance? That is what fear is all about. It's not that heroes have all the courage in the world. And I tell people this all the time. It's not that. It's that they know and have learned how to control their fears. Back when I was in Special Forces, some of the old timers would tell me that the day I don't fear will be the day that I die. Literally that simple. Because you have to have some level of caution in what you do. These heroes that you see that walk into these burning buildings and walk into these dangerous situations, guns blazing, they're just that, heroes. But I'm certain there's an element of fear there that they're controlling to a whole nother level. Because I was one of those guys for quite some time. And I can tell you, controlling your fears, and I always had them, is something that we all must do if we want to have a better outcome in life. So now that we got a cursory look at fear, let's look at fear in conjunction with activity, life activity. You want to get married, but you fear what that relationship will look like 10 years from now. So you may say no because of fear. Maybe you had no experience of people around you who had successful marriages. So it even compounds that fear more because you don't have any understanding of it. Once you understand something and you start to adopt that understanding as a part of how you operate in life, that fear never goes away, but it becomes a little bit more controllable. It comes a little bit more within the sphere of your own specific control. And that's important. When your daughter or son is looking up to you, or your brother or sister or friend looking up to you for advice, you gotta know they're asking you something because they think you know it. So they don't fear coming to you for that kind of advice and or assistance. What they do fear is when you say, I don't know. Not that you can't say, I don't know. But if you are going to say, I don't know, make sure you say, I don't know, but, like almost to say, I don't know, but I'll definitely get that answer for you and I'll get back to you. And here at 3 o'clock today, we'll talk about it. Let me go ahead and refresh myself on that or find the right answers for you. Now that inspires confidence and it gives them less of the propensity to be fearful the next time they ask of you anything. So let's look at your own lives. Your boss talked to you like a piece of crap because you fear your boss. You are intimidated. That's it. Nothing else. You fear him. Your boyfriend is a narcissist. He talks to you like you're a piece of crap. He treats you like a piece of crap. Why? Because you let him and you fear him. You definitely fear him. You don't want to go to medical school, although you passed the MCATs and you're ready to go. Tuition is standing by and you don't go. Why? Fear. You want to go to a party. It's 10:30 at night. And your friends will want to meet you there, but no one's there yet. Why don't you go and just be there by the time they make it? Fear. You want to be a stronger person and tell the people that are talking to you in a manner where they should not be that, hey, cut that out. With whom do you think you're speaking? Fear. You're at school and the bully said, give me your lunch money. And he punches you in your arm once. And you give him your lunch money. Why did you do that? Fear. Now, in all of those circumstances, they were about journey opportunities. Opportunities towards a journey in life, a journey in school, a journey in whatever environment. The thing is, if I'm a bully, we all know the old adage, most bullies don't want to fight you, they just want to intimidate you. And the moment that you show that you can fight back, bullies will normally either back down or knock you out. One of the two. But either way it goes, you're going to get knocked out anyway. So you might as well stand up for yourself. Parents are supposed to teach their kids to stand up for themselves, but in this very passive society we live in sometimes, kids are not being taught how to defend themselves. And they are bullied as kids, or because of their personality, their sexuality, their last name, color of skin. Kids are tormented. They're bullied because no one stands up for them, and you have to stand up for children because you teach them how to stand up for others when you do that. They will. They will simply stand up for others if you teach them that you'll stand up for them. There's a chain reaction there. We're going to talk more about that over time. But I want to talk to you about your fear. You will never have any happiness in your life. And at Norm Therapy, we teach you no happiness can occur unless you learn to control your fear. And there are techniques that we teach you to help you do that. But you have to know the origins of your fear and also create new origins of your courage, which we all know that courage is nothing but the control of fear. That's all it is. Now, there's some badasses out there, you know who you are, where you can just bypass a lot of this. But most people are not built like you and I, because I don't think there's a thing on this planet that I fear, period. Not an audience, not a person, not a fight, not anything. I may not win them all, but I'm going to be damn sure that guy that you think twice about screwing with the second time. And that's important. That was learned. Matter of fact, being beaten as a child taught me that. I just figured everybody gets stumped on every now and then. So there you go. My life has been a series of, let's see how bad this thing can stump on me. As an ex-Special Forces Green Beret, I tell you, I've been in some really tight situations. And fear was no option, period. But not everybody lived that life. So try to put yourself in every single circumstance throughout your day and ask yourself this question: am I afraid? And if you are, what do you need to know about that circumstance that you can understand better about that circumstance? Be whether you're going to the store and you're meeting with a friend, or you're going out with your husband, or you're doing something that requires that you have a little bit of courage when you get there, like going to the PTA and speaking out, or going to school and talk to the principal about why your child is being bullied. Think about what you need to understand about that dynamic, about that situation. Even if you have to Google it, even if you have to sit down and read a book about it. But learn something about what you're about to do, and that will curb the propensity to be a coward from your wanting to become a coward when it comes to controlling your fear. Now, cowardness is the absence of courage and the uncontrollable nature of fear. But fear isn't meant to be uncontrollable. It's a part of your brain. It's a part of the amygdala. Fear is good. Fear is something, it's an early warning system for the body, for the mind, for the soul, for your environment. It keeps you vigilant. So start understanding that which you embark upon, and your threat center will work for you, and your fear will work for you instead of against you. And we'll talk more about this in ensuing podcasts. Thank you. Once again, I am your host of Norm Therapy Show. I look forward to our very next video. Talk with you soon. Thank you very much.